Hey guys, I'm alive. I really should actually just be asleep right now, but because I have work and other things to do in the morning, but this is a video that I've been needing to make for a while now, and I've been putting it off because I've had so many things going on, but I'm staying up tonight to make this video and get my thoughts out unscripted because this is a topic that's very important to me, and in terms of League of Legends, it's like nothing is more important to me than this. As you all know, I have stopped making videos regularly on this channel. The last video I uploaded was over a month ago, and it was basically a collab video I did just on the spot with my friend King Nidhogg, where we talked about Singed and High Elo and how it just does not work for him right now. That trend has continued, and due to that, I've actually just I've actually just quit League for over 3 months now. I haven't played. I've played a few normal games with friends, with like 3 normal games with some friends, but I pretty much quit, and that's the first time that I've ever quit League. And I've been playing League for 8.5 years since pre-season 1. Yes, the time period before season 1 lasted a long time, and season 1 itself lasted over a year, lasted like a year and a half. So in terms of total time, I've been playing League for around 8.5 years, give or take, whatever. I've been there for a long time. The greatest time that I ever had in League was I got to Challenger rank 79 in Season 5 playing only Singed. AP Bruiser Singed, and that was the greatest thing ever for me. That's it's gonna sound really stupid, but that's one of the most fun moments I've ever had, in not just in video games but in my life. It's one of the happiest moments I've ever had, not just in video games but in my life, and I wish that Singed was in a state where I could experience that again, but he's really not. And part of the reason why I quit is because I was becoming so frustrated over his state in the game that every time I played League, not just recently, but ever since the end of season 5, every time I just played League, I just was angry because my character just it felt like he's being left in the dust basically by all these new champions and all these new things that he just can't keep up with. He just cannot keep up with it. So I've been feeling like that for about a year and a half, ever since the start of season 6, and it all kind of came to a head about 3 months ago when I just decided, fuck it. I am tired of feeling like I'm useless in every game, like I can't contribute to the outcome, and I don't want to play. So I stopped. The popular builds for Singed at that time, and even still now, is like it's so stupid. It's like full tank, utility Singed, no AP, no damage, just literally utility. And it's builds, actually we'll just go ahead and look at it right now. I already have everything I want to talk about loaded up. So the popular builds for Singed is just garbage like this. It's like Righteous Glory, ZZ Rat, Locket, Knight's Vow, fucking this one has fucking 2 pairs of boots. Like, it's so stupid. It's like it's not fun to build like this, to build full tank utility Singed and just try and win like that. This is not a good Singed build. This is not even a good build. Full tank utility Singed, one, it's not fun. 2, it's not good. The only reason that you think it's good, people who play full tank utility Singed, the only reason you guys think it's good when you play this is because you win. But think about how you're winning. You could build full tank utility on any champion in this game, and you could try and like squeeze out a win. You're not building for Singed strengths. You're not building for him to like be Singed. You're fucking building for Singed to just like scrape together some stats and try and like accommodate for shit that you don't have, and pray that your bot lane doesn't go 0 and 15, and that you can like somehow keep somebody alive while doing a small amount of utility. It's awful. Full tank Singed is trash, and I hate it. But the problem is, right now, you have to do this build, because if you don't, then you just die instantly. And even if you go full AP, being full AP as Singed doesn't necessarily mean that you do that much damage, because all these champions in the game have so many ways to just survive Singed low dot damage. It's... on top of that, without a Righteous Glory in your build, which, by the way, I've never liked buying, without a Righteous Glory in your build, you can't get to people. You can't engage with people. You can't interact with the enemy team. You have to try and like find other ways to fight. You can't. You have to play like old Singed, basically, where you have to rely on a primary engager and you go in afterwards, which is fine. I don't mind that, but that's not how the meta is, and that's not how the meta has been in a long time. Top lane has been an engager for a while, and if you're not an engager, then you have to have some other way to like reliably deal damage, and Singed doesn't have that without some form of engage. But what AP Singed can do is if he manages to get to a team, he can somewhat punish them because he has damage. Problem is he dies super quickly because he has no tank stats. I'm gonna be talking about a lot of that in this video. About why all of that needs to change. And there were PBE changes that happened that made it not well. Fuck, I'm tired. There were PBE changes that were moving in the right direction. So I'll go ahead and start talking about the story of what happened. So yeah, 258. Okay. So there's a Singed player in the Singed mains community called Noel's. I guess his league name is different, but he wrote 7 pages. He wrote a fucking research paper to Riot about why Singed has just been awful lately. And if you guys want to read this, I'll have the link in the description, stuff like that. But yeah, like the idea of it was his early game is garbage, versus he loses like pretty much every matchup now because other champions have so many options that he doesn't. He has to buy like 3 Dark Seals and a Corrupting Potion just to like somehow lane. Like it's ridiculous. You're spending 1,300 gold on items just to lane, and that by that time other champions are finishing a complete item, and you're sitting there with a bunch of Dark Seals and not able to really do anything. He's like, his itemization is bad, his itemization is outdated, he's not rewarded for doing much of anything. It's awful for Singed recently, and that's basically what this whole research paper is about. He made a lot of good points. Yeah, I pretty much agreed with it for the most part. I didn't read the whole thing, but I kind of understood what he was talking about, because a lot of the stuff that he said in his research paper was... I don't care about this. A lot of the stuff that he said in his research paper was like the same stuff that I was saying for a long time. A lot of my rants and Twitter posts and YouTube videos and stuff like that. It's yeah. A lot of it, like, okay, so here's what I said. What confuses me is that I've spent nearly the last 2 years talking about the same points and frustrations to members of the balance team, including Mental Facts Boss, Skarzard, Fearless, and more, that I was already brushed off and never really listened to. I guess all it takes is a research paper to get members of Riot to do their job. And if you guys want to see what I'm talking about, this twitlonger that I messaged to a member of the Riot balance team, Mental Facts Boss, is from the 4th of November 2016. So it's been a long time. But before that, way before that, pretty much since the start of Season 6, I've been on Twitter, I've been on forums, I've been on r/singedmains, just saying all of these things, never really gotten anybody's attention. I have gotten people's attention, but they just disagreed with me. Members of the Riot balance team, they pretty much told me that, you know, I was dumb, they told me that Singe was strong, and I'm like, he's not strong. All you're looking at is a win rate, and you're like, oh well, he's fine. One of the biggest arguments that rioters gave me, rioters would tell me, oh, you know, Singe has a 50% win rate in Platinum Plus. He's strong. He's strong. He's fine. Singe is fine. You just don't believe in yourself. That's actually something that a member of the Riot Balance team said, by the way. He said Singe mains just don't believe in themselves. That in itself was a bit of a shit show, but something that really irritated me is that it's not true. You know, it's not about whether or not a player fucking believes in themselves. Singe just outclassed by other champions. It's completely outclassed, and I'll start talking about that in a bit. Let's go ahead and go into excuse me. What they actually changed about Singed, right here. So the PBE changes for Singed. Poison Trail. Total damage changed. This is base damage 44 to 152, 45 to 125. However, AP ratio increased from 60% to 80%. So basically, I think it was like, so you're getting an extra, you have 3 damage ticks. Well, they updated the Poison Trail, but like basically you had 3 damage ticks on the old Poison Trail, right? So you're getting a 0.2 extra on each, which means you have a total ratio of like 1.2 now, I think, or something like that. I don't know. Like that works. I'm so tired right now and math is hard, but basically you're getting more for building AP on your Poison Trail. This is good. This is what needs to happen. This is a step in the right direction. All these changes were a step in the right direction. All right, and keep in mind, these were 7.12 PBE balance changes that happened on like, this happened on June 1st. And ever since then, after they were on PBE for 1 day, these Singe balance changes, they got removed, basically. Don't know why, but it's whatever. I guess they just wanted to test other stuff. So, Singed, Poison Trail Q, AP ratio increase, base damage decrease. They want us to build AP. Fine. I'm okay with that. I firmly believe that Singed should be an AP bruiser. Fuck tank Singed. Fuck utility Singed. Just fuck that. I hate it. Singe is an AP bruiser. He always has been an AP bruiser, and he should always be an AP bruiser. He should be like a Rumble. Something like that, where you can like be rewarded for building some damage and get into a fight and like fight people. And why the fuck is my Steam on? There we go. Like, he shouldn't be this full tank just fly, basically, who just annoys very slightly and does no damage and slows some people, but then dies and gets CC'd and you can't fucking do anything. It's awful. Fling E. Mana cost reduction, especially early game. You went from level 1 Fling going from 100 mana, ridiculous by the way, to 70. Good. Percent of target max health damages magic changed from this to 6% at all ranks, but now it has an AP ratio, 2% per 100 AP, so basically 1% or you get an extra 1% damage for every 50 AP, meaning if you get to 100 AP, you break even because 6% plus 2% is equal to the old 8%, so you break even. But if you get more than that, then you're getting more damage. And even then, you'd probably max this last now, just because the only thing you get from leveling it up is the root duration. If this version of Singe went to live, you'd probably max W second after Q, which is fine. You know, that would also give Singe a little bit of incentive to not build Righteous Glory. Fuck the item. Insanity Potion R, mana cost lowered, stat bonus changed. So the first one, the level 1 ult is a nerf, but the level 2 and level 3 ult is a buff. The duration of level 1 and level 2 is a nerf, but the duration of level 3 breaks even. So basically at level 2 and level 3 ults, you're stronger. And this also gives you more damage for your Poison Trail, so remember that. It adds on to itself. New effect, Poison Trail's cloud duration is also doubled. So this would give Singed a little bit of the ability to like zone in a team fight and create like areas to funnel enemies into, things like just really cool things that you can do with your Poison Trail lasting a long time in the ground. Imagine having Rylai's Liandry's with the new Poison Trail damage and your level 16, your level 3, level 16 ult, which gives you 90 AP, and then you flank an enemy team, you know, and you put your Poison Trail down the lane and just cover the whole lane, and they have to run past you because your team is chasing them, but they have to run into your Poison Trail. You know, just cool stuff like that. Like, that would be amazing. You can actually do damage to a team and force them into weird areas because, you know, with the extra damage that you have from the new AP ratio and the level 11 and level 16 ults, it's like, hey, you know, we can't just literally ignore Singed anymore. We have to actually respond and do something about it. We can't just sit there and be like, oh, haha, it's Singed. Your champion was relevant in 2013. Get the fuck out of here. You're nothing. They would have to actually like kind of respect your damage with this. And this, which, you know, I'm okay with. I like that. I like that a lot. I love AP Bruiser Singed, and these changes might not be like the perfect ones, in my opinion, but they are definitely a step in the right direction. I think that they're a really good step in the right direction. One of the things that I was suggesting was this. I personally, I'm a fan of Singed just having a completely new passive, besides Empowered Bulwark. The 25% mana gets converted to HP, but if they want to encourage mana stacking, then I think that Singed should have something else for mana stacking. I think that there is nothing else in his kit besides his passive that encourages him to build mana, except for the huge mana costs that were on his W, E, and R, which are under that 7.12 PBE change would have gotten removed. So here's my suggestion. Updated passive, Empowered Bulwark. Singed gains 25% of his maximum mana as health. In addition, reaching certain amounts of maximum mana empowers Singed other abilities. 1000 mana, Singed gains a shield based on X% max mana when he casts Fling. 2000 mana, Singed gains 25% tenacity for 10 seconds after casting Insanity Potion. So, at no point ever would Singed ever have, like, full duration tenacity during his ult. This is just a temporary thing. Alright, so this is not bringing tenacity back to his ult. This is just 10 seconds of it on a 25-second ult, and then you lose it for the rest of the ult duration. 2500 mana, Fling gains increased range. It doesn't have to be these effects specifically, just something besides dull, boring, and frankly weak. 25% mana equals HP. It's just like if they want him to be a mana stacking champion, he needs incentive and he needs rewards for actually building mana. This is really similar to what Cassio has, as like when Cassiopeia reaches certain amounts of mana, she gains like rewards and stuff like that. So in Cassio, you see mana stacking items, you see Morellonomicon, you see Archangels, you see Seraphs, you see, which I guess is just Archangels, but you also see Rite of Ages, stuff like that. So stuff like that's good. I think that's a really good start. But I've seen other suggestions, like just completely taking out his passive and giving him something different, like maybe like a unique item, like I guess Fish expressed that, like a unique item that kind of like Victor has, just something like that would make him I guess relevant is a good word. Something that like fits in Modern League of Legends. You ever like read some of these new champion updates and you just see like they have paragraphs upon paragraphs upon paragraphs of information just written in their kit? Singed doesn't even have one paragraph total in his kit. All of his ability descriptions are one fucking sentence each. Like, you can read through Singed's entire kit in about 10 seconds. You wanna know how long it takes to read through a character like Alawi's kit? It takes like 5 minutes. If you wanna try and read through like updated Gangplank or like updated Fiora's kit, it takes like 5 minutes to read through their kit. It takes 10 seconds to read through Singed's kit. He needs depth, and he needs... Depth is good, but complexity is bad. I think Singed is good as a simple champion. I love the way Singed plays. I love how the character functions in a game. Like the whole just simplicity of him, but I think he does need more depth, and I think he needs to be rewarded for doing certain things in a game, like just about every other champion in the game is now. And then like stuff like the new Galio and fucking Fiora and oh god, AD Ken. I like remembering all this stuff, and I'm glad that I stopped when I did, because I think I would have actually just gone mental if I had kept playing. I was getting really, really upset before I quit. I want to come back, by the way. I do want to come back, and I will come back if the updates for Singed are fair and good, and they make me want to play again. But as it stands now, as long as Singed stays the way he is right now, I'm not going to play. But that's besides the point. So yeah, these changes are a step in the right direction, but they were pulled from PvE, and I understand why they were pulled from PvE. People got really mad on Singed. They're like, oh, on Singed mains, they were like, oh, I can't believe, Riot, you said we were gonna get buffs and stuff that was on PvE for a little bit. It's like, come on, like, don't get mad if they're pulling changes from PvE. They want to do it right, and I really respect that, because it took us a long time to get Riot's attention. And now that we finally have it, let them do it right. Wait a little bit longer. I promise you, none of you have been waiting nearly as long as I have for Singed changes. Alright? And I am the one person who's going to be the most critical of Riot. I hold them to a completely different standard than newer players, because I've been around when balance was really, really good. I've been around in seasons 2, 3, 4, and 5 when balance was really good. It started going downhill in season 6 and 7. Or in season 6, it started going downhill. In season 7, it's fucking plummeted downhill. But that's also something I'll talk about here in a little bit. Yeah, I've been around when it was really good. None of you have been waiting as long as I have for Singed changes. Please just wait a little bit longer. Please be patient and trust them to get it right. Also, Riot, if you're listening, do not fucking go a tank route with Singed. Please don't make him a tank. Please. Please don't make him a tank. He needs to be an AP bruiser. If there's one thing that any rider takes away from watching this video, it is that nobody wants you to make Singed into a tank. AP bruiser is what we want. And the reason for that is because full tank Singed has no agency in a game. He has no ability to affect the game. You just basically build fucking utility in top lane and pray to God that, you know, your team doesn't feed and that somehow, you know, they just win team fights, and it's stupid. You don't you don't exist in the space of a game. All you do is farm fucking minions, and even that you do poorly. AP bruiser Singed, you contribute to a fight. You do damage. You can fight people. You can pressure people. You can be a damage threat. You can take towers. You can do this. You can do that. You can't do that on full tank Singed. All you do in full tank Singed is fling and pray. It's stupid. I hate it. So yeah, step in the right direction. We'll see what else they do. But I like it so far. The only concern I have is that maybe like he needs to be rewarded for actually reaching. Sorry, I'm gonna readjust myself in my chair. He needs to be like rewarded for actually reaching the enemy backline, like kind of how Darius is. You know, if Darius, he's a champion like Sindri, he has a lot of trouble getting into a fight, but once he gets into that fight, manages to find a good target, he gets rewarded because he stacks up and he starts ulting people and he starts healing himself and stuff like that. So it's kind of similar in that I feel like Darius is a good example of a champion that's rewarded for making himself function in a game. And Singed is currently Singed is definitely not rewarded for being able to overcome his lack of gap closer and actually fight people. He's just not. And that's stupid. It shouldn't be that way. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about how Singed has been lately. Um, it's been fucking terrible, guys. It's been really bad. I'm sure all of you know that. Singed has just not been a good spot. Win rate percentage by patch, negative across the board for multiple patches. And before 7.8, it was negative then too. This is stupid. His win rate percentage by game length is just, it goes down. In older Singed, his win rate percentage by game length would go up. He was a late game scaling champion. You know, I had a comment that I wrote to Chimso about that actually. Okay, so yeah, people like to say that Singed was a mid game champion, and I fucking hate it. I fucking hate it. Somewhere in season 6, we were basically forced to build RG simply to try and function because of the amount of crowd control, the amount of gap closers, the amount of speed, the amount of mobility, and the amount of damage that's in a game. So basically, the idea with RG is, oh, well, now I can finally actually fucking fling people again. Oh, wait, I don't do any damage now, and I die anyways. But at least I can fling people, you know, it's silly. RG sucks. Okay, so here's what I wrote. Gradually, champions in top lane have gotten so powerful over time that every matchup feels frustrating as fuck. Even Shen dumps all over Sin because of how powerful his Q and Spectre's Cal is. We've been forced to spike as soon as we get out of lane because everyone is so damn tanky and everyone has so much CC and damage that Singe just gets butchered building damage. Even if he does build damage, supports and life still pretty much negate all of it, and they do. Shields negate Singed hard. 80 carries with the fucking Vamp Scepter can out-heal Singed poison damage with how he has to build currently, how he's forced to build currently. So it sucks. All other roles have become so powerful over time that Singe can't keep up. Mid laners have a lot of power too. Fiora, Cancer, AD Kennen, Cancer. Here's one thing that I want to talk about. Masteries. In Season 6, they released these new Mastery trees, which basically is your 18-0-12 with a Keystone. That's not good for Singed, and the reason why is because in the old Mastery trees, in the old Season 5 / pre-Season 6 Masteries, you could do things like you had to have 30 points total, and the most common split was 21-0-9 or 0-21-9 or 0-9-21, stuff like that. I'm sure people who've been playing longer than 2 years remember this stuff. But we could do things like a 13-17 point split or a 14-16 split, and what that would do is give us a little bit of AP, a little bit of armor and MR, and a little bit of tenacity, and it was okay, you know, it was okay. Singe was never the strongest champion back then, but it was okay, you know. You get to late game, you have a good chance of winning. However, oh god, the Juggernaut patch fucked everything. The Juggernaut patch basically was Riot saying, hey, look, you know, there's new people on this here balance team now. We're going to do shit differently. We're going to do shit like this now. All these new champions are going to be complicated. All these new champions are going to have multiple different ways to outplay people. All these new champions are going to have so much fucking power in their kits. And all these new champions are going to do what all these old champions did, but they're going to do it twice as better. With fucking the new champions are basically like playing League of Legends on easy mode. That's the best way I can compare it. Juggernaut patch released characters like Fiora, Darius, new Gangplank. Fuck, what else was there? I guess Mordekaiser and Garen, I think, were in that, but they don't really count because they're garbage. Alawi. But the biggest ones, obviously, Fiora and Gangplank and Darius. Those three, the core elements of their design, where they get rewarded for doing certain things within their kit, they get heavy rewards. Fiora gets rewarded for proccing vitals. Darius gets rewarded for gaining bleed stacks. Gangplank gets rewarded for hitting barrels. What they get for doing that shit is so much better than what older champions get for casting their abilities. Like, compare fucking Fiora Q hitting a vital to like Annie hitting a Q. What happens when Annie hits a Q on enemy champion? It does damage. That's it. That's it. What happens when Fiora hits a Q on enemy champion? oh, well, it does percent max health cure damage. It heals her for a percentage of her health. She speeds up based on a percentage of her own movement speed. And I think after she hits it, she also resets the cooldown of it by half. So she does like 4 or 5 fucking things just for hitting one ability. Think about that. She's not the only one. Darius has that too. Darius hits a Q, he heals himself, puts bleed stacks on his enemy, speeds up if he has Black Cleaver. Yada yada. Gangplank. Gangplank hits a barrel. It's an auto crit. Slows the enemy. Speeds himself up. Resets his passive. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, there's so much shit in these new champions. And Riot expects the oldest champion in the game. Singed is the oldest champion in the game. He was the very first designed champion in the game. They expect him to be able to keep up with this shit when he can't build damage anymore? When every champion outscales him? When his early game is garbage, his mid game is garbage, and his late game is garbage? How is that fair? How is it fair that Singed has to build 3 Dark Seals and a Corrupting Potion just to lane, when enemy champions can finish their first item by that point? It's not. How is it fair that Singed has one of the worst, if not the worst, early game laning phases in the game, with little to no late game payoff? He used to have late game payoff, and he doesn't anymore. Where's my thing? Where's my shit? Where did I put it? Where did I put you? Oh, it's actually, I'm so tired, I'm sorry. It's right up here. See, he was a late game champion. He was able to stack like percentage damage item, or percent, what am I saying? He's able to stack mana and late game scaling investment items like Rite of Ages, Ceres, etc., and become a late game monster. Because his early game was awful, and if you got past your early game on Singed back then, you were rewarded for it. Because you could keep up with other champions. He can't do it now. He just can't keep up, and he needs more stuff to be able to keep up with people. How do you expect Singed to keep up with like a Gnar or a Kled? How do you expect Singed to ever keep up with like a Gangplank or a Fiora? Do you expect Singed to be able to keep up? Be honest with me here. Do you expect Singed to be able to keep up with an AD cannon top lane? Fuck no. Of course he should be disadvantaged in the laning phase, but he should be rewarded for making it through the shittiest laning phase in the game. Singed has more hard or impossible matchups than every other champion in the game. Singed loses way more matchups than every other character in the game, and he's just not rewarded for it, and I hate it. That's one of the biggest reasons why I stopped playing, was because I felt like there's nothing I could ever do to affect a game. So I feel like Riot needs to give Singed some agency, and this is a good way to start that. So I'm proud of them. But these changes were pulled. They're actually putting new PvE changes for him up soon. I don't know what they are, and we'll see. I'm trying to get this video out before that happens, but whatever. But yeah, his win rate's been going down steadily. His play rate has also been going down. One of the things that Rioters had said to me in the past was, oh, well, he has, a low play rate, but a high win rate, which means that, I said that. He has a low play rate, but a high or medium win rate. He had a 50% win rate, not high, but he had 50%. He used to have a 50% win rate and a low play rate, meaning that dedicated mains of that champion, meaning Singed mains, people like me, were keeping his win rate afloat. All right? Check out what's happened. When his play rate was high, his win rate was still low. Recently. When his play rate's low, his win rate's even fucking lower. So now that only Singed mains are playing him again, he's actually losing more games. I wonder what's happening here. Could it possibly be that we don't believe in ourselves? Or maybe, just maybe, hear me out, Singed fucking sucks right now. I wonder if that's what's happening. I guess, I guess we'll have to examine the data for a few months. No, I'm just joking. They know what's up. Riot knows what's up. They know what's going on, and they're working on it, which is cool. Yeah, I don't like Keystone Masteries. This whole Mastery system needs to be destroyed, which they are doing. They are getting rid of that Mastery system in favor of the new rune system, which is cool. I hope the new movement speed rune is really awesome. because it would be fun to play movement speed Singed again. Like movement speed Quint Singed, but sadly it's really not possible in modern Singed because you need to kick armor Quints to survive auto attack harass that people put out. Every top laner's shit on you with fucking auto attacks. It's awful. But yeah, I hope that's a thing that happens. Recently he's just been terrible, and hopefully by next season this changes. They said a few months, 1 month ago, Manuel Fax Boss, who was a former Balance Team member, Singed was like his parting gift to us for leaving the Balance Team. He said, expect changes in a few months. So a few months from 1 month ago is basically the end of the season, pre-season 8. It's fine, you know? I don't care about season 7. I've already given up on season 7. I stopped playing. Season 8 comes around. When a season 8 comes around and Singed changes are out, you can expect me to play again. You can expect me to make videos again. You can expect me to stream again, all that stuff. Because I want to. I really do want to. But the only champion I enjoy in League is Singed. And without Singed being fun for me, League isn't fun for me. And I refuse to play another champion. Like I might pick something up for fun, but I can never lose myself in a character like I lost myself in Singed. There's no way. I love this character too much. And I'm just never gonna let him go. Lots of homo. What else? I talked about that. Talked about this. Actually, no, did I talk about this? No, okay, I did. But yeah, a lot of these points are just points that I made. If you guys want to read this, I'll post it in the description. But these are points that I made that were ignored by the Balance Team. All this is oh, actually I forgot about this. The removal of boot enchants really hurt a popular starting strat for Singed that revolved around rushing tier 2 boots with a home guard enchantment to help him get through really hard lanes like Teemo, Jace, or Kennen. I used to love doing this. I would rush tier 2 home guard boots and just run a lane farm, recall, run a lane farm, recall, because Singed, in order for him to farm, he has to take damage. So having home guard boots as a very first item would be really good for him. Because you could be punished less for recalling, which was amazing. I loved it. That was one of my favorite things to do in League. I guess. Oh, that reminds me. Yeah. Talk about Rally's Landry's. Season 1 to 4 was like the mana stacking Singed era. I think I actually talked about this over here. Yeah, season 1 to 4 was like the mana stacking Singed era, and season 5 was the Rylai's Leandry's era. My favorite style of Singed was the hybrid that existed for a while. It was like Tear the Goddess, Roa, Rylai's Leandry's, and then tank item, and then boots. I thought that was great. That was the most fun Singed build for me. But I was also okay with just building Rylai's Leandry's and then tank items. That was fine too. I just like building. I love building Rod of Ages a lot. Obviously, I don't build it because it's a shit item for Singed right now. And the reason for that is over time, they've taken away a lot of the HP that's on the item, and they've made it into more of an AP mage item instead of AP bruiser item. But I used to love building Rod of Ages. I think it's one of the coolest items in the game. You know, if you're a weak early game champion, but you scale well late game, you buy a fucking Rod of Ages and you scale. That's what you do. It's an investment item. I think that's great. But sadly, it sucks on Singed now. I hope that changes too. But yeah, really fun. Okay, so this is the last thing I guess I wanted to talk about. Is about 1 day ago, there was a post by Meddler saying that he wants to put new PBE changes for Singed. Okay, Meddler gave us thoughts on Singed. He's not forgotten. They're still trying to figure out what the right changes are. Expect something on PBE early-ish next week. So in sometime this week, in the next day or two, we'll get a new PBE update and we'll see what's going on. And I'll probably make another video right after that, very quickly. Not gonna delay it like I did this one, but we'll see what they do. I'm gonna find Meddler on Twitter, and I'm going to send this video link to him, and just see what he has to say. I'll probably send him this twit longer too. I just want to see if he'll respond to me. But you know, I hope that people on r/Singed mains and you guys on my YouTube channel also take this video and kind of like hopefully try to understand the ideas that I'm trying to throw out and see why I think about Singed the way that I do. And you know, if you do agree with what I have to say about him, then try and share it and hopefully get into the hands of writers. I don't care about view count. I just care about, you know, my Singed being great again. That's really what I care about. So yeah, share to writers and share with each other, and I love all you guys, and you know, hopefully they do right by Singed and I get to come back eventually. But yeah, I will see you guys later. Hopefully you guys didn't mind my my jumbled long 3 a.m. rant. Goodbye for now. Bye.